if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
I know it may be hard to be happy on a day like today, but we all need a little happiness in our life, and maybe a simple smile will relift your spirits, and we're going to go forward. Yesterday was probably one of the most defining moments in Chattanooga history. Our sympathies, our hearts, our prayers, our thoughts go out to the 4 Marine families that were tragically gunned down here in Chattanooga, Tennessee yesterday. An act of terror. It's exactly what it was. Our thoughts also go out to the Navy personnel that was wounded, and we wish the best on the recovery there. And we'd like to give thanks to all of the officers that responded, the one officer that was wounded, and understand he should maybe be out of the hospital tomorrow, but all of the other officers that really, when flying into a hostile situation without disregard of their own safety, but more importantly for the safety of all people here in Chattanooga. My name is Eric Judd. Normally this is half off on Friday, and we still have half off. We have half off every day on our internet site. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m. You can go to hotnewstalkradio.com, and you can go to half off and see our offers there, and we will touch on a few. I encourage everyone to go and be a part of our Twitter page, and that's at Hot News Talk Radio. Just go there, follow us, and you'll have some of the most up-to-date information there is. We're pretty active on Twitter. Was hearing a lot from social media yesterday, but my hat goes off to probably one of the most social media things there is, and that's AM radio. Russell Stroud did a great job yesterday. He stepped in. He's the news director here. He was on the air from noon till probably 6 or 7 last night, providing information, providing news, and that's what we do here at Hot News Talk Radio. We didn't go on with our normal programming. We stopped. We were giving you the information that you needed. This radio station stepped up to the plate, and it was hot news, and that's exactly what we provided for you. So I want to thank Russell for that. He will be back on the digital drive here after me at noon. And everyone that called in yesterday, everyone that tweeted us yesterday, that texted us yesterday, just to give the most up-to-date information we had. And keep in mind, that information was very fluid yesterday and changed constantly. And there were a lot of unknowns. There was some misinformation out there, which you're going to have in an event like this. But I tell you what, David Toulis did a great job. He went down and he covered the first press conference they had around 3 o'clock. He asked some poignant questions. I mean, great questions from David. And, we carried that live here. I want to say we were probably one of the first broadcast networks to let people know exactly that there was something going on, and then to let them know what was going on. So a lot of people say, why AM? Well, yesterday was a perfect reason of why you have AM radio and why you have News Talk Radio. We were all over a situation that was local, that went national, a situation that could be a defining moment in America as far as the way we look at terrorism, and the way, hopefully, some changes will be made, that these military officers on these outpost base such as Chattanooga, or even in the recruiting centers, will be able to carry and bear arms. They're military people. These were Marines. They should have been armed. Would that have made a difference? I don't know, but they still should have been armed. And there were a lot of facts come out since yesterday. I'm sure most people have heard them and heard them over and over, and we're going to talk about a few of those. Also, hopefully at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be talking to Blood Assurance They need blood. They have several locations around the Chattanooga area. I encourage everyone sometime today to go give blood. If you can't get in and you have to go back tomorrow or whenever they're open again, I know that they're probably going to have some mobile sites. We're going to talk to them about that and get that information out to you. I plan on giving blood sometime this afternoon, and that's a small thing that each one of us can do. Once again, you're listening to Hot News Talk Radio here on 1240 AM, and you know, it's one thing. I remember 9/11 when on TV you're watching the plane slam into the towers, into the Pentagon, and you just felt that emptiness inside. And you know, I had the same feeling yesterday, only it was even more of an emptiness and more of a stronger feeling because it happened here in the city that I call home. And you know, Russell and I were talking about before we went on the air. It's really odd to turn on all of the national news yesterday, and Chattanooga was the story. It wasn't the lead story; it was the story. And what happened yesterday, with the way the FBI reacted in such a quick to take over the investigation, the way the president was briefed quickly, this is something big. This is something big. I don't think that they would have reacted that way if it hadn't have been. I know the president come out and called it a lone wolf attack, and it may be a lone wolf that attacked, but that wolf is part of a larger pack. And I think we're going to see that come out. I'm not going to give the names of any of the victims until the Defense Department releases that. I know the police officer has requested that his name not put out there. And more importantly, I'm not going to give the name of the person that did this. I'm not going to give him the justification. I'm not going to give him the credit. I'm not going to give him anything by mentioning his name. He is dead. And that's it. This is over as far as there will be no trial unless there are some other people involved, which there may have been. I will say this, the authorities moved awful quick, found out the residents, moved into their residence yesterday afternoon, and have really shed a lot of light here with us. I don't think right now or any time is to make this political, to point fingers political. There'll be a time for that. I think there's going to be a time for some of our leaders and officials to answer for this. Right now is a time for this city to heal and to understand. I believe tomorrow at 9 a.m. on the Walnut Street Bridge, they're going to do a walk across the bridge in kind of a moment to just kind of reflect and think about what happened, and maybe some grief in there, you know, how to be with people that you can talk. I would encourage you to go down there. I think I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to be in a capacity where we hope to get some shots, some aerial shots of that, if they will allow us. As some of you may know, and our listeners know, my name is Eric Judd, and I am with Sky Aerial Services. I got several phone calls, and I got lots of texts last night, people asking me how come I wasn't in the air and getting all of this on film. And you know, you had a great opportunity, and I didn't look at it that way. First of all, the airspace in Chattanooga was closed. And yes, I do fly a drone, and just because I fly a drone doesn't mean that I don't have to go by the same restrictions as any other aircraft. So I couldn't have flown. I also made a judgment call that the investigators need to do what they need to do. They don't need to be bothered by anything else. And even though I would be up and out of the way, I felt that at that time it was a judgment call not to get pictures or video of a scene that 4 people lost their lives. 3 other people were wounded. Sometimes you have to make that call. There will be a time and a place to do some flyovers and get some pictures. I believe tomorrow may be a place, or any other event that's going to be doing any kind of prayer services that I wouldn't be disruptive, would be a place to get that. It's a time to start to heal. It is a time for Chattanooga to show the world that we do not live in fear. That's what these people want to do. They want to scare us. They want to take away our liberties, our rights. They want us not to be Americans. And I know Chattanooga is a great town, and I know the people here love their country, and we're not going to live in fear. We're not going to live in fear at all, because that's what they want, and they're not going to get it from us. There's no reason for us to live in fear. You can't stop what happened yesterday, but you don't have to live that it's going to happen every day of your life. And I know there were some traumatic events that happened. If you were close to it, you had a business or close to Amnicola Highway yesterday, you're probably a little shaken. But do not live in fear. Go forth. You live your life. We're going to live our life as free people in the greatest country in the world. These jihadists, these lone wolves, whatever you want to call them, they are not going to restrict the way we live in this country. They're not going to take away our freedoms, our rights. What they're going to do is they're going to strengthen our resolve. It is time for our leaders to declare this, what it is, and it is a war. They brought the war to the South. They brought the war not to a major city in New York or LA or Chicago, but they brought it to where the real people live. And that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to scare us. They took it to our military. They found a nice soft target and they exploited it. And it's time for us to beef up these installations and allow these people to carry guns. And more importantly, it's time for us in Chattanooga, the surrounding areas and the surrounding cities, to not live in fear, go forward, be vigilant. You know, there were some things about this young man that I think probably could have raised a few eyebrows if people just maybe questioned a few things. I probably wouldn't have until now. And I'm not, but I am saying, you know, when people change like that, it's a radical change and it's probably going to be noticeable. And I think we need to get vigilant. Now, I'm not saying that you start, you know, watching your neighbors and telling on your neighbors and all of that. Just kind of keep your eyes open, be aware of what's going on around you. If you know somebody that's got some unusual behavior, maybe they're saying some different things, maybe they're, you know, just kind of make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up every now and then pay attention, see what's going on. I'm not saying, you know, I do not want to be a tattletale community, and we shouldn't be, but we should all be aware of our surroundings. I think the way the Chattanooga Police Department handled this yesterday, Hamilton County handled it great. And then our officials, the way they handled it, I want to thank the governor for actually coming in and being a part of this. Bob Corker was here. So we had our national, state, and local leaders here last night, which I think it was very, very good how they came in and they showed that, look, this city is a great city, and we have so much going on for us. And this is not going to set us back. This is going to strengthen our resolve. We're going to go forward, and we're not going to live in fear. Hey, it is half off Friday, and it's almost lunch, and you're probably going to get hungry. So if you go to hotnewstalkradio.com, and the very first item there is Jet's Pizza. And we've talked about them before. We've got a great gift certificate for just $25. You get a $50 gift certificate. They have great food. They are a local place. They're a local business, and we want to promote everything local here. So call in. It's very easy. If you want to scroll down to the bottom of the page, you can fill your information out. We'll call you back. Someone from this radio station, even as busy as we've been, we're going to call you back, and then we're going to get you hooked up with this Jet's Pizza, and that's a $50 gift certificate for $25. You can go to hotnewstalkradio.com, half off deals. There's a lot of deals on there. We're going to hit a few. Hey, I want to do something that is a little unusual, and we went wall-to-wall coverage yesterday, and we have some great advertisers, and I want to thank them for being advertisers, and I want to mention them because, you know, we did go to where we didn't have our normal commercial breaks, and we didn't take that time, and this was important enough, and I appreciate them understanding. They understand when you're part of a talk radio station and the news needs to get out there, that's what we're going to do. Actually, it's hot news talk radio. News comes first, and that's what we did yesterday. So any of our sponsors that you hear today, please say something to them, thank them for their service. Go in and use them. We have some great sponsors here on Hot News Talk Radio. And, one of them is Ducks Indoor Air Professionals. They do a great job. They're going to clean your ducts. They're going to give you a great thing. They're going to get rid of the mold, the mildew, the junk, the long neglected ductwork, and that's something you forget about. You don't think about cleaning your ductwork. Look, give them a call at 876-9907. That's 876-9907. They're a great advertiser, been with us forever. If you're interested in advertising with us, please give me a call off the air, 423-521-0284. That's 423-521-0284. You are listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, and it is half off Fridays. If you go to our website, hotnewstalkradio.com, you can find all the deals there. Click on the half off tab. And I tell you what, you're going to see some great deals there. In fact, you're going to see some fantastic deals there. We've already talked about the Jets Pizza. We've got all kinds of stuff. We got collector's items all the way to office furniture. We've got boots, anything you would need there. It's pretty simple. You find the item you want. You're going to scroll to the bottom, put your information in. Somebody from the station is going to call you back, and then we're going to make that transaction happen. I was actually out of the area when this had started yesterday. And as I do when I leave the area and kind of lose the signal if I'm in my vehicle, I always go to my TuneIn app. And I was on my TuneIn app listening and started getting alerts. And it's very simple. No matter if you're here in Chattanooga or if you're outside of Chattanooga, maybe you had to go to Atlanta, Nashville, Knoxville, or something like that, you can listen to us on your mobile device, and that's for your Android and your Apple device. You just have to go to TuneIn and then just make Hot News Talk Radio a favorite, and you can listen to us anywhere. And it was streaming live, up to date, and that's how I kept up with what was going on. Even had some information, and you know what? The information I had, I actually called back into the radio station. They put me on, and we got that information out to you, and we encourage you. We want everybody to be our reporter because we can't be everywhere at once. But if you're listening to us and you see something happening and you need to call in and let us know what's going on, or, you can be part of our Twitter. That's Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter. Just go in, follow us, and then tweet us something, and we'll get it on the air at any time. Blood Assurance is needing blood. Summertime is always a slack time for them, and they're going to need, they were needing blood anyway. And then after yesterday, they're really putting the call out. So if you can, get to one of their locations and give today. If not, if it has to be Monday or maybe one of their mobile locations, you can get by there, but give today, give at Blood Assurance. We should have them off. We should have them after the break here at the bottom of the hour. Look, Quick Surge, which is a quick surgery place, great sponsor here. You probably heard them at the beginning. They do it a little different, and I think you ought to give them a call or go to quicksurge.com. And that's QUIKSURGE.com, quicksurge.com. Great sponsor here. Automax is a great sponsor here. They even had a car on our 50% off for a while. And look, give Louis a call over there at 423-643-2886, 423-643-2886. Terrorism come home here in Chattanooga yesterday, and that's exactly what it was. I know people are still in shock. They're probably still, you're just trying to figure this out. What happened? Here's a young man that grew up here. Here's a young man that seemed, by all intents and purposes, the all-American guy, went to UTC, got an engineering degree, and then something clicked and something happened to him. And I'm sure as the information comes out, we're going to find out what happened to him. And look, be vigilant, be positive, be happy. Do not live in fear. We are a great community. Great things are going to happen to this community, and they're going to continue to happen. This is just something that we're going to work through. Find you a place or a friend to talk to. If you have to pray, meditate, just sit and think to get through it, whatever you have to do to kind of connect with these emotions, I encourage you to do. Make sure you keep the family members of everybody that was involved yesterday in your thoughts and prayers. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m. and at hotnewstalkradio.com. My name is Eric Judd, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Don't worry, just relax, you need a car. Come to Automax.
My wife and I keep the cost down. We sell a quality vehicle at a great price. Our overhead is low. I have no employees, so I can keep my costs down. In turn, the consumer gets a better price. Everything that I sell is emission ready. We really try to go the extra mile for our customer. I don't have to pay an employee commission. I don't have to pay somebody to come out here and wash my cars. You know, I do it all from buying to selling from A to Z. I don't have the overhead where I have to raise the price on my vehicle to cover costs. Here at Automax, you're going to guarantee that you get credit. As long as you're making those payments, you're going to build on your credit. Unlike the buy here, pay here's where they don't report to credit bureaus, we report to all three credit bureaus. The subprime lenders that we deal with, you don't have to have any credit, or you can have bad credit. You can even have a bankruptcy, a repossession.
Don't worry, just relax, you need a car. Come to Automax.
Do you feel better outside your home or business than in? Indoor air quality is important. Mildew, mold, smoke, water, and rodent damage are prime causes of poor indoor air quality. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals, better known as Duct Busters, cleans HVAC systems using 127 definable Duct Busters steps. Let Mark Thompson address the indoor air quality at your business to help reduce employee illnesses. Prevent fires by cleaning your dryer vents. Mark and his parents, Dick and Joan Thompson, have been building our local economy and helping local people with HVAC systems 16 years. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals. Call 876-9907. 876-9907. Ducks. Call now.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
You love your hometown. Are you interested in free markets, in local economy? Do you hope that Chattanooga can survive the next meltdown, the next chain of disasters in the national economy? What's the best way to live out the ideals of self-government and self-determination? Join me, David Toulis, weekdays 1 to 3.
Host News Talk 1240.
Love your neighbor, buy local.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Host News Talk 1240.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy.
Okay, we are back. My name is Eric Judd. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio. I'm here with Russell Stroud, and on the phone from Blood Assurance, we have Troy Kidd. Hello, Troy.
Hello.
I understand, I know with the events from yesterday, and I also understand in the summer is probably a decreased time for y'all. Kind of tell us what you're looking for, what you need after the events of yesterday.
Well, you're correct. With the events from yesterday and also during the summertime, it's usually a slow season for people to donate blood. But what we're looking for right now are all blood types. A lot of times you'll hear people say that O negative is in demand because that's a universal donor, which is true, and O positive because that represents the greatest percentage of the population. But honestly, we can use all blood types. So anyone who's willing to give blood, we encourage to come into any of our facilities and give it a try. Also, while you're there, if you want to speak with a blood assurance employee about the possibility of donating platelets, because Platelets only last for 5 days, and there's a very high demand. They're used anytime there's a trauma. So anyone who is willing to give platelets and can donate an hour to 3 hours of their time, that's greatly appreciated.
Okay. And platelets, you said they're only good for 5 days?
Correct.
Okay. And you probably always need those, correct?
Yes, sir. We can use platelet donors throughout the year, all year. It's because of the small shelf life and also because of the usage at the hospitals. We're always in demand of platelets. And
how long does that, you said it take an hour to 3 hours to donate that?
It depends on a person's biology.
Okay.
So, and depending on person's size and what their platelet count is going to depend on how many products we can actually take from a donor. So an hour would be the minimum. If we were going to take a large amount of products based on that donor, it could take up to 3 hours.
All right. I'm about 6'3", and I'll be very nice to myself when I say I'm 220 pounds. How long do you think it's going to take me, an hour, or am I the 3 hour guy?
You're probably going to be somewhere in between. I couldn't really tell unless we did a platelet count on you. But I would guess most people are looking about an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, now I know, I believe did you have your mobile site at the Chattanooga market last Sunday?
I'm not actually aware of where all the mobiles go out, but that sounds correct.
All right. Well, why don't you right quick tell us, do you have any of the mobiles out right now, and kind of tell us in the Chattanooga area where people could go, because I know a lot of people know the one on 4th Street, but they may not know the other ones.
Without having an actual mobile sheet in front of me,
that's okay.
I would be guessing, and that'd be
well, what about your non-mobile places?
Non-mobile, we have our Fort Oglethorpe location. We have our downtown Chattanooga location. We have our Hickson location, Gun Barrel Road. Any of those facilities, we are seeing a high volume of donors today, but we have the necessary staff in place to make sure that we can take care of everybody, and we'll stay as late as we need to make sure that we see everyone. And are you open on the weekends, or are you just a Monday through Friday deal? Nope, our locations will be open tomorrow. Okay, good. So if they can't give today, you can go by tomorrow. What hours will you, how late are you going to go today? Our facilities today are open from 8 to 6:30, but like I said, if we feel that we need to stay to make sure that we can accommodate everybody, then we will. And tomorrow? What are your hours tomorrow? Let me check on that for you. And look, tomorrow hours will be 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay. All right. So 8 to 1 tomorrow. If you can't make it by today, they're going to be there till 6:30 today. As Troy said, they need all blood types. So don't worry if you have an unusual blood type. Then
somebody else surely does too. So.
Yeah. So, okay. Is there anybody that if they wanted to give and that they couldn't, can you tell us anything about that? If there's someone, I'm sure if they're sick or they have something, they're not allowed to give, but how about if they have a cold or something like that? Right. The first thing we're going to ask anybody is if they are feeling healthy today. So if you don't feel well, if you think you have flu-like symptoms or something, you shouldn't give. And basically, not only are we thinking about the safety of the blood supply, but at the same time, people that are feeling ill, they need their blood obviously to feel better. So if you don't feel well, then blood donation isn't encouraged. How about if you don't know your blood type? I guess y'all are going to do a test when we get there, and you'll tell us our blood type. Yes, actually, every unit of blood we take is going to go to our laboratory to be processed, and in about 3 to 4 days, if someone doesn't know their blood type, they can contact our laboratory, or they can contact one of our facilities, and we can let them know what their blood type is. Okay, well, good, because right now I could not tell you my blood type if I had to.
I had to do a test in high school actually to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that can tell you right away, but I can't. I've given blood before. So, what facility are you at? I'm currently at the Gun Barrel Road facility. Okay, you want to give your phone number out there? That way, if anyone has any questions, they can call in. Sure thing. We can be reached at 893-7454. And that's at the Gun Barrel location, and you'll be there at least until 6:30 today, correct? Yes, sir.
And or they can also call our downtown Chattanooga location, which is 756-0966.
Well, thank you so much, Troy. I'm probably going to be in your gun barrel location, hopefully somewhere around 2 or 3 o'clock. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. And once again, if you need to call them, you can call them at 423-893-7454. That's 893-7454. I encourage everyone to get out and give blood today. Thank you so much, Troy, for your time.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, Russell, you going to give blood?
Probably, yeah. Actually, I've honestly, I've been squeamish about it for a long time.
Really?
My dad gives blood because he's the universal donor.
Yeah.
And so I might be too. There's a 50-50 chance that I am.
It's not bad. I'll tell on myself in college, I would go give platelets
About 50 years ago.
Yeah. Thank you. They give you $25.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they pay you.
Yeah. And this is when the drinking age was 18.
Oh, man.
So you'd go give your blood and platelets and feel a little lightheaded. And then you'd go have a tall boy and you'd really feel lightheaded. So I wouldn't encourage anyone to do that today. But if it's a way to get blood, then maybe that's what we need to do. I am going this afternoon and give. I think, everybody wonders what they can do in a time like this. And this is something that you can do that will make a difference.
Right. So many people feel helpless after a tragedy like the one that we just had. And this actually is an opportunity for anyone to actually help out.
And I'm one of these people. I don't like needles. So
No.
I just don't look. I mean, I just look away and, I don't, it doesn't hurt, but I just don't like the fact of watching them put a needle into me or anyone else.
Yeah, it's funny because honestly, I'm that way too. Like I've always hated needles since I was a little kid. And this actually makes me want to give blood now. It's weird. I mean, I'm not just saying that. Like I actually do now. It's so strange.
And Russell is a millennium, right?
You claim yourself?
Yeah. And so I know, everyone needs to get out and give, as you heard Troy say, look, they're not looking for any certain blood type. They'll take anything at this point because the summer always strains them because you have more people on the road, you have more accidents. And then after this terrible, terrible incident yesterday, they really strained.
Right. Obviously, there's been a higher demand just recently than there had been before, but there always seems to be a higher demand. They're always asking for people to give blood. It seems like not enough people possibly do, or they just use it up quickly. And it seems like there's always a need for it.
Well, we're a growing population here in Chattanooga, and we need more and more people to give out. It was great to hear him say that all their facilities were busy today.
That was very encouraging to hear.
But he said they're well staffed and they're ready to go. So they're waiting on you to go in any one of their locations. You can go downtown, you can go Hickson, which is not too far here from the radio station.
Right.
The Gun Barrel location. And then he said they had one in Fort Oglethorpe too. So that was great. I appreciate him talking to us and letting us know exactly what they need.
Yeah, it's funny too because the Fort O one is like right next to my house, so maybe I'll go.
Well, you can walk down there.
Yeah, I'll just walk down there. I live in
Then
Ringgold,
when you're dizzy, so see.
Right. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun experience.
And the dizziness. They used to give you a cookie and a little thing of orange juice.
I think
so if you like
do.
cookies, you get a free cookie out of it.
Yeah, they give you a T-shirt too. My dad gets a T-shirt every time.
Yeah,
so
they usually don't have one my size. That's the problem. I know. I know. All right, Russell. So you got the digital drive coming up.
I do.
And you're going to try to get back to some kind of best normal that you can get, right?
It's hard. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's really hard to get back into any sort of normal attitude, especially since you and I were on the air for so long, and you feel just drained after all of that, and it really takes a lot out of you. But yeah, we're gonna try to get back to normal. I think we probably didn't get any sleep.
Well, I'm gonna put you on the spot because I guess when 9/11 happened, you were 6.
6, yes.
So you're probably remember it, but this is.
I remember it. Yeah.
Is this the first thing that's really impacted you? That is kind of going to be ingrained in your.
Probably no, honestly, not. The Boston Marathon bombing didn't affect me nearly as much. I did report on that one as well, not nearly as much as we did today. But that was the one. That's the first one I really will remember it as a mature mind. But this one's really going to stick with me more so, probably just because.
But it was local for one.
It was local, and the impact of it was just so there because it happened 6 minutes from where we are now.
Yeah, I mean it's very close.
Yeah, I mean just across the river.
Yeah. I tell you, the very first thing I guess that I remember a news story that really sunk in, and I remember Watergate and kind of the end of the Vietnam
right
to a certain extent. And I know this is nothing close to what we experienced yesterday was when Elvis died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I remember that because my mother started crying and I guess I was, how old was I? I was 10 or 11.
Wow.
And I didn't realize, I thought she knew him. I said, I didn't know we knew us, but it was such an impact on her. And then, of course, when the Challenger blew up, was huge. I was about your age when that happened. And that's one of those, I remember the time, the place, and everything.
I remember there was Atlantis just recently, the other space shuttle that exploded. I think that was 2003.
Yeah.
I remember that one pretty well as well.
I was in college when the first one blew up, and we just happened to be all in a place together. And it was the first time I've heard college men be silent.
Wow.
Even people that don't know how to be silent, they were silent. And I'm sure there was a lot of that yesterday.
I think so.
You did a wonderful job. And I know you were busy on and off the air because you were doing interviews in other parts of the world or other parts of the U.S.
Oddly enough, people from Texas were calling me to have me on the air to talk about it over there. So I guess we made some sort of impact even nationally. But I couldn't have done it without you, honestly. The reports that you did were so
thank you.
important.
I appreciate that. It was, I tell you, and I checked all the sources at one time. This radio station was really the only one going out and giving the news and the facts that they had in front of them over and over, which is what you should do. Where a lot of the other stations just went ahead with they went ahead with programming until you got later or earlier in the afternoon.
Right.
But I mean, we were really starting to break this thing about 11:45 or 12.
It was about 12 on the dot.
Even before the TV stations were breaking.
Yeah, about 12:05 on the nose.
I do want to say that the Chattanooga Times Free Press did a good job yesterday. They had a great job with what they were doing and the information they were putting out. I mean, just all over it. And I know newspapers, a lot of people feel newspapers are kind of going by the wayside. Yesterday is a great example of why you need newspapers.
Absolutely.
And the Times have adapted to the new medium, I think, great. So
I think so too. Their digital reporting, especially on Twitter, was really astounding. I got hats off to TFP.
Yeah.
Something I noticed coming in today, because I come in from down south from Ringgold on 153, you could see at the Lee Highway overpass, you could see all the microwave trucks parked there with their satellite dishes pointed upwards. So they're still there. They're
probably going to be there. Now, I know there's a press conference from the FBI today at 3.
Okay.
They said they were going to have one at 3:00 every day. I watched the news conference they had last night at 11, which really there wasn't a whole lot of new news out. They had a few things. They had the name, and they had where he lived in Hickson and stuff like that. But I would say today, 24 hours into today's press conference, you're going to find out some good information.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a bit more informative. We already do know some of the names and identities of I think 2 of the 4 Marines who were killed. I don't think we know anything yet about that sailor who was injured either. But of course, as soon as we do, we'll bring it to you here. But
I've seen a couple of the names. I've chosen not to speak of them today.
Right.
I want the Defense Department to be able to get, I don't know, family members may have been out of town. They may have been, and they don't know yet. And I would not want to be the one to release that information to them.
Exactly. Yeah. Discretion is a really big part of it.
It is.
The only reason I brought it up is just to say that it has been released.
They have.
But part of reporting is being responsible. And I think not withholding, but being a little bit cautious.
Well, I think yesterday was a good lesson in responsibility. The information we got out, even though some of it was, maybe not correct, it was correct at the time. It was the information we were getting at the time.
Right.
It was a very fluid situation yesterday. Lots of changes. And this radio station did a great job. You did a great job, Russell. David did a wonderful job at the news conference. I tell you, he was I think he needs to run the debate panel for the presidential. I mean, he was asking the tough questions.
He really was.
And I know it kind of annoyed some of those officials, but I'm sure that, they were probably going to be annoyed at any question because they didn't have answers or they couldn't answer. So
I think his performance at the press conference is exemplifying exactly what we are, because it was so out of the box.
It was
not par for the norm, because everyone else there is going to so where did he live and where was he located and what kind of weapon did he use? And then you have him who comes in and asks these off the wall questions. It's like, what? Yeah. And you could see the guy was not expecting that.
Oh no!
So that was
not at all, and he wasn't happy about it.
No, that's
okay. That's what the press should do.
That exemplifies who we are, though, because we're the small guy who's going to ask the weird questions that no one else is going to.
And I think he did great coverage on the press conference. I think he was down there at 1, and it didn't start till 3. So
everybody was very upset about that.
So I'm sure on his show. Today from 1 to 3, David's show 1 to 3, be sure to listen because he's going to have some more insight. I'm sure he's doing a lot of research on this. And then you're going to go back to the digital drive.
Yes. Yeah. At 12.
And you're going to talk digital.
We actually are going to talk digital. Yeah. There's been some problems with privacy regarding drones, actually, which I'm sure you're experienced with. There's been a problem just recently with Uber, actually, where there's been some lawsuits in California about Uber. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And a giant, what they're calling sort of a hacker's emporium, was shut down by the FBI.
I saw that too.
Just I think 2 or 3 days ago.
You know, I saw where Jeb Bush took Uber to one of his events yesterday.
Yeah.
And the driver didn't know who he was.
I wouldn't know who he was if he sat. I'd be like, who the heck are you?
I thought that was funny.
Yeah. He's not Donald Trump. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, there you go. He's the only one running for president.
Yeah,
Hillary's already dropped out. But, you know, the drone issue is very funny because I get that all the time, privacy issues. But, you know, we've done aerial photography and video for a long time.
Yeah.
And there was never a privacy issue with people in planes flying over your house taking pictures.
That's the thing.
That was okay.
It's a giant helicopter, and people are like, "Oh, that's fine," but it's a small drone, and people freak out.
That's right.
I don't know.
And I've done enough. I've flown enough of them. If they're close enough to get a good picture of you sunbathing in your backyard and all natural, you're going to hear it.
Yeah.
And if you can't hear it, more than like the picture is going to be so distorted by the time they blow it up to see you that it may be the best picture of you ever taken.
You got about 10 pixels high on you.
So I'm just telling you, I think I think a lot of that comes from the industry that it's probably going to be putting a hurting on, and that is the aircraft industry that had this locked up, and now you've got a smaller, more efficient way to do this. And I'll let you get into your digital drive without taking that. But, you know, yesterday was an interesting day because the no-fly zone went up, and then they said they just put the no-fly zone over the sites. And I'm sure that was for news helicopters.
Possible, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
But I'm also sure that, you know, they didn't want guys with drones flying around there. And that's why I didn't go. I mean, you know, I had already thought about a couple of places where I could go launch and get some great video and pictures. And I said, no, I'm just not going to do that. You know, I might be missing out on 1 million YouTube hits, but that's okay. That's 1 million YouTube hits I don't need.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I was hearing about an aerial shot, a rather distasteful aerial shot that got out over the air of actually.
Yeah, I saw it last night.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah. There was a shot of the car, and you could see what they described could be a body.
Yeah. And that's kind of.
Yeah. But we don't need that. I mean,
exactly.
Why? Is my question. Why do you want to show that body? The car? I mean, why do you want to show the car?
I think the car does make a little bit of sense just to say, like, look, you know, the bomb squad looked through it. But, I mean, you can describe that.
Yeah.
You don't need to show pictures of that. I don't know.
Well, it's a Mustang. That's all you need.
It's
a convertible Mustang.
They all look the same.
There you go.
Silver Mustang.
So, and I think it's funny that it was a rental car. I hope he got the insurance on that, especially for the company's sake.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I thought of that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's this was very well thought out. When you go back and look at what he did, this was not his first. He didn't wake up yesterday morning and say he's going to do this. So I think, and I think that's what I was talking about. Be vigilant. You know, you look around. If you notice some quirks, if Russell starts acting a little different, I'm probably going to say now, what's going on here? You know, if he travels to Yemen and comes back, then I'm going to say, let's debrief you for a second.
Yeah, I've come back completely different than I was before.
Yeah, there you go. Look, also, it's very easy to start maybe looking at people that resembled this guy and start making assumptions. Don't do that.
No.
Especially if you don't know them, do not do that.
You know, there are people who go to my church who look like that. So, I mean, these are the most peaceful guys I know. So
I live close to the mosque. I was telling you earlier, and I'm not going to say the name of it. I'm not going to say where it is, but I could probably walk to it if I wanted to. And, you know, when they were building that, you didn't hear a lot about it in Chattanooga. And I think the reason being is because the people in the mosque went to all the local churches and asked to speak to their congregation.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, that's a nice way of doing that. Let's go out and here's who we are and here's what we're about. So don't get any lame brain ideas and I'm going to get them back and all. If you want to get them back, then, you know, get on an airplane, go over to Iraq or Syria and start killing some folks if you want to get them back. Okay?
Or plant a church if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you got to do some kind of destruction, doing it here in Chattanooga is not going to help anybody. It's just going to get you arrested or killed. And then we'll be talking about you on the radio, and we don't want to be talking about you on the radio.
Well, something that was brought up yesterday that I think is a really good point is getting freaked out about it and being afraid and staying home and not going to work.
It's not going to work either.
That's exactly what they want anyway. That's the whole point of terrorism, is to make people terrified.
Mm-hmm. Look, love, peace, and forgive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what religion you practice, but that's pretty much the main theme of most of them. Even if you don't practice a religion and you're a spiritual person, it's still love, peace, and forgive. And now is that time.
Absolutely.
Now is that time is when we need, as Chattanoogans, as Americans, to do that. They did it after that horrific shooting, at the church in South Carolina.
Yeah, in Charleston.
And it's time for us to do it. Let's not get mad. Let's not, and I can say it because I can be as red as anyone in the room. Let's not be redneck on these people. Let's let this work out, and let's let the higher power sort this out and take it.
Especially since we don't know all the details
No, we
right
don't.
now.
We don't.
It'd be different if we knew everything ever, but we don't right now. The investigation is not even close to being over.
No.
This happened yesterday.
And we're 24 hours into it. And
almost exactly.
Yeah, and we're going to find out some new information. Well, Russell, thanks for stepping in. It is half off. Go to our website, hotnewstalkradio.com. Go to half off. There's so many items there. Click, scroll down, pick you one out. Fill out the information at the bottom of the screen. Somebody from the radio station is going to call you back, and we're going to make a local deal happen. My name is Eric Judd. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio here at 1240 a.m. Hey, follow us on Twitter. We had a lot of people on Twitter yesterday. They got a lot of good information from us, and they provided us with information, and that's very simple. On Twitter, we're Hot News Talk Radio. If you were like me and you were out of the area yesterday for a little bit and you wanted to stay listening to the radio station, put TuneIn on your smartphone, whether that be an Apple or a Google device. And you know what? You can listen to us anywhere, and it's very simple. It's TuneIn app. Once you get the app downloaded, go to Hot News Talk Radio there. And as always, you can listen to us on the internet where we stream at hotnewstalkradio.com. All of our sponsors, please, thank you for being a sponsor. And also go to these people, use their services. We are very, very selective on the people that we have here, and you're going to start to hear some new people, and we're going to start to hear some new shows, and we're all excited about that. If you're interested in advertising on the radio station, give me a call, 423-521-0284, 423-521-0284. And if you're interested in some of my aerial services, you can call the same number. My name is Eric Judd. You're listening to the Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m., and I wish you a great weekend.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Are you tired of working in corporate America, or have you recently lost your job and would like to consider owning your own business? If you are, please call me, as I can help you look at franchises or business opportunities that fit you, the economy that we're in, and the type of businesses that are right in the greater Chattanooga area. After I help my clients find the right opportunity, I also help them find the best way to finance the business, including paying yourself through the startup phase. If you would like to learn more about opportunities that may be right for you, please call me for a free assessment. My name is Bruce Krebs at the Entrepreneur Source. Phone number is 423-875-5621.
Surgery does not have to be financially painful. Hi, I'm Surgical Dr. David Redd, and I'd like to invite you to my walk-in surgery clinic in North Shore. Quick Surge brings you immediate relief from moles, skin tags, maybe a laceration. Quick Surge. You walk in, fill out a mini form, I numb the area I'll treat, and before you know it, you're on your way home. Do I take insurance? No, because I take cash customers. I have super low and fixed prices. Credit card, check, or cash. Uninsured, member of the working financially disadvantaged, choose Quick Surge. I publish prices online. No murk, just sunshine. Hassle-free, pain-free. Love the idea of a personal relationship with a doctor? Drop in with a nasty cut from work. Quick Surge, I'll take care of you. Quick Surge in the Public Center on the North Shore. No insurance hassles with Quick Surge. The national medical system is dysfunctional, overpriced, very alienating. I'm part of the solution, and so are you. Come on home. QuickSurge.com. QuickSurg. Relief.
When my brother and I opened the first Jets Pizza, we believed if we made the best pizza, customers would find us. So we made fresh dough each day, used fresh toppings, and premium mozzarella cheese. 300 plus stores later, we still do.
Try Jet's famous 8-corner pizza with premium mozzarella cheese.